Guys, we have solstice energy to talk about today. This is the longest day of the year happening in the northern hemisphere, and the energy that we have going on present for our solstice today is sort of giving us a glimpse of the next 6 months, what's going to be unfolding between now, our longest day of the year when we have the most light, heading towards our shortest day of the year where we have the least light. And I can tell you guys that this specific solstice and the period of time that it is representing is quite a transitional period of time based on the energy that is present for our solstice today. We got a couple of big things going on in terms of transits energetically, and also just some other things that are happening this week, really sort of making me feel like very transitional, active period of time that we are in right now. Also, the sun moving into Cancer, approaching Cancer season. This is a cardinal sign. This is an action-oriented time of year. So you guys, things are happening, things are moving forward, transitions are underway, restructuring, transformation happening, and I feel like there's going to be a lot that transpires, a lot that changes, and a lot that goes on over the course of this next 6 months. So let's get into the chart for our solstice today, you guys, and see specifically what is playing out, how it's playing out, and how it may be affecting us here on the ground. Welcome back to my channel, everyone. Today is Tuesday, June 21st, 2022. My name is Aubrey, and this is my analysis for our summer solstice that we have going on today. And if you guys stick with me till the end of the video, I'm also going to be talking about some tarot cards that came out in conjunction with the astrology today to sort of give us a more holistic view based on a couple different modalities of what we have playing out for our solstice. And again, the solstice, this is a more important energetic point in the year when we have the longest day. This is when we have the most light of our whole year. And, because we're the solstice, we have two solstices. We have a winter solstice and a summer solstice. So, whatever energy is present for our natal chart of our solstice on any given year, it sort of tells us what is going to be unfolding throughout the period of time until the next solstice coming up. So more of a significant energetic day that we have going on when also, we have the sun moving into the sign of Cancer whenever we have our summer solstice. This also marks the sun's entrance into the sign of Cancer, which of course is shifting the general collective vibration that we have going on as we are leaving the more Gemini, airy, light, communicative, back and forth type of energy, which was kind of a little bit of a strange Gemini season because of all the retrogrades and the squares that we had going on with the planet Mercury. But now we're transitioning into the Cancer vibes, you guys, which is a lot more about sort of nurturing our soul, feeding our soul, and what we need to feel comfort and safety and security and caring for ourselves and caring for others, sort of making these things more of a priority generally as planets are transiting the sign of Cancer, the sign of the home, the sign of the mother, the sign of the womb. So and also the sign ruled by the moon. So this is also a much generally more emotional type of time of year because the moon rules our emotions and our feelings, and just a more feeling oriented, intuitive, and emotional time of year, going from air energy to water energy being the more dominant theme. So the sun entering Cancer today, always on our solstice. That is really what gives us our solstice, when the sun enters into the sign of Cancer, discharges that first degree, and also, it gives us our longest day of the year, the day when we have the most light. And as I was saying, I feel like, you guys, this week, this solstice energy, this 6-month period between this solstice and our winter solstice is going to be pretty profound, pretty transitional, transformative. I feel like we're going to see a lot of active changes happening over the course of this next 6 months. And it's also interesting to me, like I said, of course we have a transition in vibes going on because we are changing from Gemini to Cancer via the sun's sign. And this is, significant because the sun is an important and strong planet in terms of the vibration and how we feel it and how it affects us. We in the West read our sun signs. But aside from the sun transitioning into the sign of Cancer, which always happens in correspondence with our summer solstice, this week, we also have the nodes of the moon, Pluto, and Saturn, which have all been stationary for kind of an exceptional exceptionally long time considering their various like movement patterns in the sky moving this week as well. And we have both Pluto and Saturn right now retrograde. Those are the two planets that we have retrograde in the sky right now. And Pluto retrograde, this is talking about some type of really deep internalized transformation, purge, purification, regeneration that is going on within us. And Saturn retrograde, this is talking about some type of restructuring of our inner world that is happening within us. And then we're talking about the nodes of the moon as well. This is, destiny and karma, the past and the future. Fate, the hand of God, where we're being guided and what we need to let go of in order to go in that direction. And also, of course, as I said, the sun. So we have the sun moving to 1 degree of Cancer, which is shifting the vibe, sun changing signs, as I just got done saying. But we also have Pluto, who has not moved degrees in literally probably like months, and Saturn, who has not moved degrees in weeks, and also the North and the South node, we've recently been having an eclipse season. And when we go through our eclipse seasons, the nodes of the moon kind of stay stationary in the sky. They don't transition degrees either. And so fate and karma, like destiny and karma, like what we're moving into now, like the next phase of growth, the path ahead, has also been sort of like stagnant for this past couple of months, really. It seems like it may not have been exactly that long, but it kind of feels that way because just of everything that has been playing out. But anyways, all of these three planets or three bodies or points, the North and the South node, I guess they're not technically planets, but they're very significant points, and Pluto and Saturn are all moving. Saturn and Pluto are both moving backwards, retrograding backwards to the previous degree this week. And the nodes are, they also move backwards. The nodes also move backwards. So the nodes are also moving to the next degree for them this week as well. So I feel like, with both of these retrograde planets, these significant and powerful retrograde planets, also Pluto is in the sign of Capricorn, which is ruled by Saturn. This to me is also talking about a breakdown of the previous paradigm that is very much underway right now, again, being represented by these inner transformations and this restructuring of our inner world that is simultaneously going on, that is really going to be having some major changes externally in our physical experiences going forward. And that's another reason why I'm talking about, I feel like this period of time that we're heading in right now is representing some big time outer transitions that are going on. But both these retrograde planets helping us to recreate and transform our reality at this period of time in correspondence with our solstice energy today. And also, the hand of God or fate and karma at work, and the sun itself, of course, representing our collective level of like vitality and what is making us thrive and what is bringing us to life and making us grow at this point in time, also shifting vibes as well. So we got some major shifts, transitions going on this week in correspondence with our solstice energy. This transitional process, internal transformations, restructuring our inner world, as I have said, and it is corresponding to this growth that is happening and that this action that is beginning to take place over this next 6 months in our physical lives, in our physical world. Things are moving forward now. And also because we are in Cancer season. And if you guys watched my June video that I did talking about the energy that we generally were likely to be experiencing throughout the course of June, this whole month has had some major black moon themes going on, you guys. We began this month of June with the moon in a conjunction to the black moon, which is right now in the sign of Cancer. We are ending the month of June with the sun, which has entered Cancer today for our solstice, lining up in an exact alignment with the black moon in the sign of Cancer. So we started the month and we are ending the month with both luminaries aspecting the black moon, and the black moon is in Cancer, and the black moon in Cancer has a tendency to represent internalized places where our fears or securities or doubts surrounding our ability to receive and give support, care, nurturing for ourselves and for others. It's like can bring up a lot of deep fears and worries and insecurities and doubts about whether or not we can truly care for ourselves ourselves in the world, and, what level of support we are needing from others. And it can create these tendencies for us to be like a little bit over needy or insecure or lack an ability to emotionally regulate ourselves. And that is the energy that we are trying to become aware of and integrate and heal within ourselves at this period of time, and come really back into a state of greater ability to sort of parent ourselves internally and be less needy on the external support and care from others. It's not to say that we just like are supposed to become these like cold, individual self-sustaining units that don't need or require any of that. That's not what this is saying at all. It's just like, where can we fill our own cup more, essentially, so that we are less dependent on others to bring us the sense of inner peace, inner security, inner support, that type of stuff. It has a tendency of bringing up like issues regarding like codependency and stuff like that. And those are the things that we are really, all month sort of being pushed to break out of, break away from, and, overcome essentially within us. And, overcoming these securities and taking better care of ourselves and taking better care of others is something that a lot of these lessons are also pointing to at this period of time, and giving us a restored faith and trust in our ability to do that as well, and also discovering this like inner resilience and inner strength, and again, inner ability to regulate our own emotions, and therefore to become less needy, dependent, and reliant on other people and external circumstances and support systems to do that for us. As I said, we are going through this transitional process right now, and we are detaching ourselves from like the control and power structures and authorities of the past, the matrices of the past that maybe we felt that we needed in order to provide us some type of, sense of security or support or ability to care for ourselves properly in one way or another. But through that process, we were also maybe surrendering our power or giving a lot of our energy and our potential away. But, according to the universal blueprint right now, as we are transitioning into the age of Aquarius, this is the time, and this is like the time down to like the days and the weeks and the months, to be taking that power back and to be detaching ourselves from these places that we have been surrendering our power out of any lack that we feel that we've held inside of us in terms of our ability to do these things for ourselves. And, we're rediscovering this talent and this potential and these resources and seeing ourselves through a different light. And this is also, leading to this transition that we are going on right now. And the aspects that are playing out today for our solstice are also really in support of all of this. But, I do feel like, and again, like I said, we are heading towards Cancer season. We are still in Gemini season until we get to our new moon in Cancer, but with the sun now moving into Cancer, this is a cardinal sign. Cardinal signs are about taking action and making things happen. And with these planets making progress, moving in their, moving out of their stationary positions, and the nodes of the moon being in effect as well. And we're talking about our retrograde planets moving. And we also have aspects that are supporting this that I have not gotten to yet, also in effect. Like, this is all just really indicating a very active transition that is underway right now to also put us back in our power, light a fire within us to get back into alignment with our personal authenticity, our talent, our potential, our resources, and the faith and the trust and confidence in our ability to really like tap them and make something of them, so that we can begin to attract and live a life that is in alignment with things and experiences that are more fulfilling to us going forward as well. So it's like, we're going through this transitional process so that we can really become the best versions of ourselves that we were always meant to be. But simultaneously, like, the byproduct of that is also attracting these experiences that are just like a world of more fulfilling to us. And it just is really going to create this entirely different experience of life going forward, which makes sense in terms of the fact that we are transitioning ages right now, and we are really recreating a different reality for ourselves based on this vibrational and energetic and, cognitive, emotional, psychological, like, subconscious shift that is going on within us as well. So, again, like, I feel like this energy that is presenting for our solstice today is significant in our shift of ages right now. And so let's get into the specific aspects that are playing out in correspondence with everything that I just got done talking about and these bigger planets that are changing their position this week as well. So the aspects that we have going on alongside of our solstice, we have the moon in Aries. And to me, this is sort of significant on its own, because the moon in Aries is talking about taking action. Aries is another cardinal sign. Aries is, square Cancer as well. The moon will be forming a square to Cancer, but also, or a square to the sun, talking about, breaking through into something, but also a conjunction to Jupiter in the sign of Aries. So we have the moon already in a sign that is very, very action oriented in nature, about sort of like pioneering out and charging ahead and, sort of being willing to be like assertive and courageous and brave and motivated and inspired and stuff like that, but also forming a conjunction for our solstice to Jupiter, you guys, also in the sign of Aries. First of all, this is some big feeling energy. This is some big emotional inspiration. And again, in the sign of Aries, courage, motivation, but most importantly, faith, trust, belief, courage, confidence in ourselves and in the direction that we want to take things and in the action that we are initiating at this point in time, and in our own personal truth and, our ability to act on that. That is what to me is being indicated by the moon's position in Aries, forming the conjunction to Jupiter, also the square to the sun. This is talking about us breaking through resistance or overcoming something or conquering something that has been blocking our progress or standing in our way from growing and thriving. That is, simultaneously with Jupiter there as well, being inspired by this renewed courage, faith, trust, confidence, belief in ourselves, in our path, in our ability to succeed as well. Jupiter ruling success and blessings. This is a really blessed moon aspect that we have going on for our summer solstice today. Optimism, hope, generosity, kindness, these things are likely to be just more abundant in the field, I guess we could say, as we go throughout the course today, especially for this day, but for this month and for this next period of time, as this is sort of like the blueprint for our solstice energy that is unfolding for the next 6 months. Also, the moon rules, intuition and the mother and the home. So this could be some very positive energy for expanded or increased intuition over this period of time, or very supportive to anything that is going on in terms of female energy, positive female energy, or mother energy and stuff like that. And we're in Cancer season as well, ruled by the moon. So this is a very expanded, nurturing, caring energy that again is being driven by this internalized sense of faith and trust and belief and confidence in ourselves, which to me is very much a remedy to this black moon Cancer energy that we've had going on simultaneously. So this aspect today, the way that the solstice chart is setting up, I feel like is actually, like I said, helping us to overcome and to grow through and to actually conquer and break through some of the challenges that may have been presented from this black moon Cancer energy that we've been dealing with this month, and any of these insecurities or feelings of lack or inadequacy or abandonment or any of these issues that may have been going on within us that have been sort of bringing us down in one way or another. This is also very supportive energy of the family, the home, and stuff like that, that type of dynamic. And again, in the sign of Aries, this is having to do with this renewed faith, trust, belief in ourselves, and the self-assuredness that gives us in our ability to act and move forward at this point in time. Again, contributing to what I'm seeing as a period of some positive actions that are really happening to start moving us forward in a way that is conducive to our success and our authentic alignment as we head in this new direction over this next several months that are playing out. So we have that. Now, the next aspect, you guys, this one is pretty potent, pretty powerful. I was sort of surprised when I saw that this was lining up like this exactly on our solstice, but I feel like, again, this aspect is indicating a fire sort of really being lit underneath us over this next period of time, today specifically, and that, some big changes happening as a result of that as well. And this aspect that I'm talking about is Mars, ruler of the sign of Aries, coming to 21 degrees of Aries in the sky today. And if you guys have been following my work, you may remember that 21 degrees of Aries happens to be a particularly significant degree in the sky. And this is because 21 degrees of Aries is known as the Eris point. It is the degree in the sky where the planet Eris was originally discovered. And this specific point represents freedom for the sake of freedom, truth for the sake of truth. It is sort of like the ultimate in the break the chains energy. And we are throwing off anything that is restricting us from aligning with our authentic truth, with our authenticity, and with what is genuine for us. And this degree also, the Eris energy, the Eris archetype, does also sort of remind me of Aquarius and the age of Aquarius and our transition into Aquarius, because this age that we are coming into now requires sort of a radical expression of authenticity, because it is all about getting back in alignment with our authentic purpose and and as a result of that, being able to activate our highest potential and really do and live the purpose for which we were uniquely, personally created, so that we can contribute that unique piece that only we have to the greater overall good, to serve the overall of humanity, to enrich the overall whole, this Aquarius, these Aquarius themes and dynamics. And with the Eris point being activated by Mars today in his home sign, you guys, this could bring some hyper-aggressive energy that is going on over this next period of time, but it is for the purpose of truth for the sake of truth, freedom for the sake of freedom, doing what's right for the sake of doing what's right, ready to fight and ready to stand up for, in the sign of Aries, ourselves, with Jupiter there, our personal truth, and the actions that we are taking now to pursue this new course that is in alignment with that authenticity, with that personal truth, and with the freedom to do so. We are ready to, like I said, stand up for ourselves, defend ourselves, and it may be, again, triggering this hyper aggressive energy to fulfill that purpose. Fighting for what's right as well. Like I said, we may this could go, sort of both ways. We may see some people acting sort of ugly in this energy if they're coming from a more ego dominant nature and sort of operating out of the lower octaves of this energy. But honestly, you guys, on the grand scheme of things, I'm sort of seeing this solstice energy as a awaking the sleeping giant situation that we have playing out. And the moon also rules the collective of humanity, and with the moon, we have the moon and this Mars aspect and the Jupiter conjunction. This is all happening in the sign of Aries. This is all happening in the sign of the individual and the sign of the self and the sign of the warrior as well. And I feel like this is activating or initiating humanity's inner warrior, inner divine masculine, really waking up and standing up and saying, no more to the things that from the matrices and the control and power dynamics and systems and patterns and everything of the past that has been holding us back from aligning with that authentic truth, tapping our resources, and being free, essentially, to move in the direction that we want to move and to be who we want to be and to embody what we want to embody at this point in time, in alignment with doing what is right generally. And with Jupiter there too, it's this heightened moral compass that is also going on. And I just feel like we are actively asserting our force to stand in our truth on a collective human level, again, with the moon also in the sign of Aries and this Mars Eris point alignment happening in the sign of Aries. I feel like humanity is in a process of taking back our power. And again, waking the sleeping giant is what I feel in the vibration of this solstice energy and moving throughout the course of the next 6 months. We are breaking ourselves free from the places that we've been stuck or surrendering our power. And then the third third aspect that I want to talk about today, going along with our solstice energy, is also indicating this and is actually bringing us back to some of the energy that we experienced last year and into the more earlier months of this year. And that is Venus moving to 29 degrees of her sign of Taurus today, coming into an exact trine with Pluto, who is retrograde at 29 degrees of Capricorn today, about to move backwards to 28 degrees of Capricorn, one of the planets that is shifting position this week. And with Venus forming the trine to Pluto, first of all, this is also a very intense and powerful energy about sort of like pursuing our desires and getting what we want and figuring out like the very deep truths of what we really want and what we desire at this point in time. This is bringing a very powerful, intense influence to the other energy that we have present. But this is also about freeing ourselves from where we have been, surrendering our power that diminishes our creative potential and our creative energy. Venus and Pluto. And you know, this past year, as I was saying, we went through a whole Venus-Pluto saga. If you guys have been with me for a while, you know, we spent a lot of time talking about the dynamic that was playing out last year between Venus and Pluto and how, you know, energetically it was indicating to me that this was sort of us breaking ourselves free from anywhere that we had been surrendering our power out of a lack that we held inside of us. And as a result of that, being limited in our ability to tap essentially our creative expression and to realize the value that we hold inside of us and to, you know, come back into alignment with our self-worth and our self-love and stuff like that. And we really have been going through this process of kind of breaking ourselves free from those feelings of lack or that lack of perception about our true worth that maybe was keeping us stuck in these karmic loops or these self-sabotaging patterns or these toxic relationships or these addictions. Venus and Pluto also a lot of times represents addictions, especially when they're in harsh aspect. But this past March, we had Venus and Mars and Pluto all come together to a conjunction in the sky at the same period of time. And I felt like this was sort of a rectification of the divine feminine and the divine masculine, sort of reintegrating and restoring that sense of internalized self-worth and self-value that was going to be throughout the course of this 222 year, helping us to release ourselves also with the South Node in Scorpio from these toxic patterns of the past or loops or addictions or relationships or just dynamics or circumstances generally that, again, we're stifling our personal creative potential and power and our ability to use that to really come into a world that is like uniquely ours and in alignment with our authentic truth, and therefore is bringing us that true soul's fulfillment with the North Node simultaneously in Taurus being ruled by Venus. And we also, you guys, recently had Venus herself come into the alignment with the North Node, realigning and leading us towards a path of growth that is restoring that value, restoring that worth within us. And now today for our solstice, we have Venus coming into exact trine with Pluto. Now these trines are facilitating aspects. They're positive aspects. They help things to just sort of fall into place. And this is happening in earth signs too. Earth signs also have a tendency of having things like physically happening in our world. And with Venus in the trine to Pluto, this I feel like is like sort of coming to like a culmination point in that realization of the value and the worth within us and of realigning. Pluto also being retrograde, really transforming our relationship to our own selves, our own self-love, our own self-worth, and therefore unlocking this creative potential within us to go on and make something with it that can help us to detach from these power and control dynamics of the past, these matrices of the past that have been keeping us out of a place of coming into our personal power, activating our potential, activating our destiny, and moving towards these more fulfilling experiences through which we are really creating with God, universe, and spirit, which is also part of the trajectory into the age of Aquarius. But Venus also making this aspect to Pluto today, I feel like this also is talking about waking the sleeping giant, sort of like we are realizing, like we are finally getting it, like we are finally seeing it. We are, and it's an intense experience that is really transforming our relationship to our own self. Venus, relationships, trining in the sign of Taurus as well, like very strong in this energy, trining Pluto retrograde, aligning, transforming, regenerating our relationship to our own self. And as a result of that, we are recognizing and realizing the gifts, the talents, the potential, the value that we hold within us. And, you know, when we come back into this place, it activates our creativity as well. Venus very much ruling, you know, creativity. And then Mars, her counterpart, again, we have this Mars, Venus, masculine, feminine, divine masculine dynamic playing out this month that is, you know, simultaneously talking about like the divine feminine is really coming back into alignment, really going through some deep internal transformations in terms of recognizing the worth and the value, and therefore also the ability to receive that, while simultaneously the masculine aspect of things is fully in this assertive, courageous energy that is ready to stand up and fight for the truth of that value that is being reawoken within us. And, you know, then this is also the nodes of the moon we're talking about being activated right now. Like, this is a very like faded phase of growth that we are in as we are releasing and moving away from the things that we have been bound to in the past that have been keeping us out of this place. And with the moon and Jupiter, it's also instilling this faith and this trust and this confidence in ourselves, our ability to act, our ability to persevere and move forward with success going forward. So ultimately, like, I do feel like this is sort of this recipe for the greater whole, kind of getting like this, again, just getting this fire lit within us to really start taking action towards getting what we want, righting wrongs. I feel like this is a period of some serious rectification that is playing out over the course of this next couple months that we got going on, and in the vibes for today as well for the solstice itself. So again, you know, waking the sleeping giant, like, we are transitioning out and away from, you guys, of the structures and the dynamics of our past experience, and we are recreating a new experience that is representative of who we are now, who we wish to become, and how we wish to experience both relationships and our external world. And, you know, when I say relationships, I mean relationships to people, relationships to like abundance, relationships to what brings us the safety and security as well, with these Black Moon themes, these Cancer themes also being very relevant at this point in time. Collective of humanity is shifting, breaking free from the matrix and the ways of the Piscean paradigm. To me, the Piscean paradigm had a lot to do with sort of like sticking our head in the sand and looking to a leader, you know, looking to a hierarchy, schooling together and sort of following the leader and feeling the safety and the security and the comfort through that process, through that mechanism. But that is totally different from the vibes of the age of Aquarius, you guys, where, I mean, this is the age of the age of the individual, essentially, like self-knowledge, self-empowerment, self-mastery, but it's in correspondence with God and spirit and universe, and it's for the purpose of serving the greater good, the greater whole. It's like, it's time for each individual human, each individual one of us to turn our light bulb on so that the whole world can be lit up with this light. You know what I mean? Like, we're not in a phase anymore where there's just one bright light shining overhead for all of us to sort of like use to guide us. We are all becoming our own light at this point in time, and that is where the light source is coming from. It's like, it's not so much just this one big light, it's all of these tiny lights that are illuminating the entire picture, sort of. As you know, that's sort of the difference, I feel like, between the way things were done in the Pisces paradigm to the way that things are going to be, you know, over the course of the next 2,000 years as we really get into this age of Aquarius energy. So that really, you guys, ultimately is what I'm seeing playing out for our solstice today. I want to talk about the Sabian symbols. We're going to actually mention quite a few of them today because there's a significant story that is being told symbolically today as well by the positions themselves, the degree placements of the planets today. First of all, the sun moving to 1 degree of Cancer. Now, this is not unique to this day. Whenever, every year on the solstice, when the sun discharges 1 degree of Cancer, we also have this degree in effect. But I feel like this year it is having like a special significance, and this Sabian symbol is on a ship. The sailors lower an old flag and raise a new one. as I said, this is not unique to, just this specific solstice, but in the context of everything that's playing out, our transition of ages right now and our transitions personally, like there's a change of guard going on. We are taking back mastery over our lives and determining the trajectory of the course of our ship going forward. And I feel like this is really a perfect Sabian symbol for the sun today to describe like overall what I feel like is being represented in the energy and that is coming for today and that is coming at us over the next 6 months. We also have the Earth at 1 degree of Cancer, always in a polar opposition to the sun, or 1 degree of Capricorn, sorry. An Indian chief claims power from the assembled tribe. So, I mean, it says it right there, like claiming power. And for me, this is, as we're looking at this on sort of like an individual level in terms of the collective of humanity, I feel like this is talking about like us on Earth, on the ground today. And for, the duration of this cycle, we are sort of taking our power back again from anywhere that we maybe have been surrendering our power, or from the like external structures and control systems and the like previous matrix where maybe we felt very dependent for like our own survival or something. But now we are realizing that we are the chief of our own reality, that we need to be the ones to hold the power to determine the best outcome of our own experience. And we are taking our power back from the places we maybe have been surrendering it out of, feeling like we needed to for one reason or another. But again, through this process and what is playing out, we are recognizing like, no, wait, I'm actually the chief. I'm actually the master of my own destiny in conjunction with God and spirit and universe, and this increased intuition and spiritual connection that I'm feeling right now and being inspired by as well. And it's up to me to take my power back and to use it to create the reality and the experiences that I want going forward, instead of being sort of at the whim of or a victim of whatever experiences society or culture or the government or this or that is creating for me based out of fears that I've been holding inside, out of lack or insecurity or instability or something along those lines. In one way or another, like, it's time for us to take our power back. And then even we have the position of Mercury today. This is also sort of in alignment with that. The Sabian symbol is at 9 Gemini. A medieval archer stands with the ease of one wholly sure of himself, bow in hand, his quiver filled with arrows. And this is reminding me of the Mars at the Eris point vibe today. Like, we are, and also the moon and Jupiter in the sign of Aries. Like, we are feeling confident and sure of ourselves and having the faith and trust and belief in ourselves to stand in our power and to fight for, our personal truth or our authentic alignment or our freedom to move forward in a direction that makes sense to us and that feels real to us and that feels true, and activate our potential and activate our destiny, regardless of what anybody else is saying or anybody else is feeling about it, or, we are having the faith and the trust to do it ourselves, feeling wholly sure of ourselves to take our bow and arrow and shoot it at a target, whether it is, what we are going after, the goals that we are going after, or who we want to become at this point in time, or, just generally defending ourselves from anything that is interfering with that process. So I feel like this is a significant degree of Mercury's placement as well. And this is the way our mind is working and where our mind is. So, in terms of like what's happening on the ground, we are taking back our power. In terms of the sun, we are lowering one flag and raising a new one. There's a change of the guard going on because we are becoming the commander of our own ship at this point in time, and we are, feeling very confident and assured of ourselves, weapon in hand, ready to defend our process. We have Mars, of course, 21 degrees of Aries. The Eris point, that Sabian symbol, is a boxer entering the ring. Again, like, we are ready to stand up and fight for our truth, for our freedom, for what is real and authentic and meaningful to us, and our ability to act on it, to pursue it, to embody it at this point in time. Mars in the sign of Aries. We have Jupiter right now as well at 7 degrees of Aries, a man successfully expressing himself in 2 realms at once. So this is sort of talking about, first of all, the bridge, the transition. We're lowering the old flag, we're raising the new one. We are stepping out of our past experience and stepping into a new one. And the thing about this degree, and the moon also in the conjunction to Jupiter and Aries, this is talking about a successful experience with something, a successful transition, a successful, stepping out of one realm into another, lowering one flag, raising a new one, with this confidence, with this self-assurity, with this faith and trust and belief in our ability to do so, and in our ability to really stand in our strength and our courage and fight for this process as well. We have Uranus right now at 18 degrees of Taurus, a woman airing an old bag through a sunny window, giving it fresh air and sunlight. Again, we are airing something out, bringing back the light, bringing back the fresh air, aligning ourselves. Uranus is the great rectifier, and I feel like this is a period of rectification. And Uranus also rules our transition to the age of Aquarius, and we are coming back to life through this new infusion of this fresh air, this fresh ideas, this fresh mind, this fresh perspective, and this infusion of light that is simultaneously coming in. The summer solstice, the longest day of the year, the sun being so powerful right now, and this degree where Uranus is at, talking about, a return of the light, a return of the fresh perspective that is airing out the old, that is helping us to make this transition, that is clearing out the dust and the stagnancy of the past. We are moving forward in this new direction. I feel like all of these Sabians are indicating that. We also have the North Node right now moving to 22 degrees of Taurus, a white dove flying straight and fearlessly over troubled water. This also has to do with our ability to rise out and above of the emotional turbulence, to detach ourselves from the places that we have been surrendering power in the past based on this reinvigorated heart energy and this love and this worth and this trust and this also ability to forgive and to surrender to the process that are happening right now, which is carrying us up, out of, and away from the more turbulent, negative emotional states of the past that maybe have been keeping us in bondage to things that have been preventing our progress, preventing our growth. And then finally, the last symbol that I want to talk about today, Venus at 29 degrees of Taurus, two cobblers working side by side at a table. I feel like this is also talking about our union sort of going on with God, spirit, universe at this point in time that is helping us to really make this internal transition, internal shift as well, that is returning us to the state of inner value within us and really recognizing the truth of the potential, the truth of the talent, the truth of the gifts and the resources, what we can tap to utilize to really build something for ourselves that can carry us forward in this new direction. Talking about cobblers, talking about making shoes that we can put on our feet to really walk forward, start moving forward in this new direction. And Pluto, 29 degrees of Capricorn. Pluto will be moving this week to 28, but still today, 29, a woman reading tea leaves. Also this expanded sense of intuition that is guiding our journey back into this self-worth, this value, this recognition of the self-love within us that is also contributing to all of these changes that are going on and us taking back our power and standing in our truth and asserting ourselves and making these changes happen. We are taking action, you guys, to make changes happen. So that is what I have to say, you guys, for the astrology for our solstice today. Pretty powerful, pretty significant. I do feel like we are going to see a lot of big changes coming at us between now and our winter solstice that will be coming up in December.